Hey, um, I want to talk about some stuff. First off, make sure you're drinking some water. And I learned something that this isn't what the video's about, but I learned that if you're on like antidepressants or something, it really depletes you of a lot of vitamins. Like, I'm on Effexor, and vitamin B goes out the window, I learned. So, I added vitamin B to my regiment. Oh, there it is. One of the B's anyway. I gotta get B12. Um, so that's just a helpful reminder. I shared it on my personal page that, the post. Um, and it also throws off your calcium levels and a lot of other stuff. Just, add a daily vitamin into your regimen. If you're on really like any prescribed medicine. Okay? So get off of that soapbox. I have something to talk about. I want to talk about pot, weed, marijuana, cannabis, ganja, grass, whatever you want to call it. I want to talk about it because I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about cannabis because it has so many healing properties when used correctly. All right. Before I start delving into this, I quit smoking. Okay, it's been about a week. I've been clean, and I don't want you to think that I'm an advocate against pot, against cannabis, because it has a lot of healing properties, and I know that. But it's also just something really easy to abuse, especially now that it's very legal and very accessible. you know. Um, First and foremost, before I started the video, I shuffled my deck, my Keeper's Little Light deck, and, asked someone who can help me talk about this, who can give me some strength to talk about this and, get my point across clearly, and not convoluted. And I drew Mary Magdalene. It says, Teacher awakens. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. All right, Mary. It knows. And for those of you who also read, or, even if you just read your own cards, how I do it, I verbally ask. So while I shuffled a little bit and I verbally asked, who can help me talk about this clearly and succinctly? And then I shuffled 3 times, and on the third shuffle, I verbally said, this is the last shuffle. And it gave me Mary Magdalene, and it seems to fit, So I'm going to read from the book about her, just a little history. We don't have a full picture of who Mary of Magdala actually was, but we do know from spiritual texts that she was a great visionary and teacher with clairvoyant abilities because she was able to see angels in the soul of her twin flame, Master Jesus. Soul of her twin flame, Master Jesus, after he had passed away. There we go. She also had the ability to shake up crowds of people to bring their hearts and minds back to the highest good. She now devotes her time to supporting us in bringing about the radical changes the earth needs in order to prosper, and in encouraging those who feel the need to teach the joy of spirit. Mary is a rebel heart in many ways. She helps those light workers who feel restricted by the opinions of others to step up and speak their truth. Okay. Thanks, Mary Magdalene. So, she's going to help me talk about this. Because I do think this is really important. Because a lot of people, with pot being legal, have started smoking more than usual, and especially through quarantine. A lot of people didn't have any time on their hands, but they had that unemployment money. I was one of them, and problems happen, So that's how this started. Really, the first time I smoked, I was 19. All right, it wasn't a problem back then. It was just something fun to do. But then as the years went on, hi Carmen. As the years went on, it got more and more power over me, and especially this past year through quarantine. Those of you know what dabbing is. It's, wax, very concentrated cannabis, basically. I was doing like 7 dabs a day, which is way too much. if you're doing 7 dabs a day, you're doing too much and you need to cut back. Like, I'll say that square right away. That's too much. It made me a zombie, you know, but it kind of felt like I was incubating to emerge, you know, so that's something positive that came out of it, that I made come out of it. You know, it's not something that happened naturally. In order to realize that, I had to stop smoking so much. So from there, I cut out the wax entirely. I don't remember when that was. It was last year sometime. Or maybe early this year. Either way, from there I just smoked the actual, like, flower, which was working for a while, but then I got, you know, at dispensaries you can get pre-rolls that are the pre-rolled joints, you know, $10 some of them are. I started going through those like crazy, you know. 3 joints a day, that's too much too. Don't do that. From there, I realized that joints were a problem, so I stopped buying those. And I just had my pipe, you know, little bowl, like it's tiny, you know, it's just a little bit. And that helped a lot. But I had to really exercise my self-discipline in cutting back, because it's really easy. Like, I'm at my desk a lot. Doing readings, art, writing, creative stuff that pot just seems to go with, you know? And that's something that really spooked me. I was like, well, if I quit smoking, am I still going to have this creativity? Am I still going to be able to do art like I do and all this stuff? So there was a lot of fear that started to creep up. So my progress kind of stagnated, flatlined, because I was afraid. I was afraid of the person I would be without pot. I was afraid of side effects, you know, of cutting back or, you know, going cold turkey. I was just afraid of who I was going to be, because I hadn't seen this person in so long, you know, which is totally rational. If you're making life choices, it's totally okay to be afraid of, you know, who you might be, because you've never met them before, you know. But the podcast I did yesterday kind of touches on this. Go forward bravely. You know, you will figure it out. And the great thing is that if you don't like who you're becoming, you can change it, you know. And that's why I stopped smoking pot. Like, mostly. Money was a factor, but anyone who knows me knows that money cannot be the sole motivator, because I just will not care. Like, that's my toxic trait. I won't care. If money is the only reason I'm doing something, not a good motivator for me. I would tell my mom that, like, I would rather be on the streets than be so unhappy in a job or something, you know, a job that's just sucking me out. That's me. So, so from there, I'm just doing smoking bowls. And the last 2 months, I limited myself to 3 bowls a day, which is not even a joint a day. So think, from last year, I was doing 7 dabs a day. Okay, that is like, a dab, you know, it is kind of like a joint. I was smoking a lot. And from last year, I mean, to right now, I'm not smoking at all. But just say last year to last month, I cut it back so much. And I felt the differences. You know, I was clear-headed, obviously. And just, I had a little more energy, a little more focus. You know, it was good. And then I was like, okay, it still had too much power over me, you know, because I was only smoking 2 or 3 bowls a day, but I was still planning my life around those bowls. You know, anyone who smokes cigarettes or, you know, any other vice, food, drink, coffee, anyone who has those vices will understand the idea of planning around using those vices. All right, I know I'm not the only one struggling with that. I'm not the only one who has struggled with that, and I'm not the only one who will struggle with that. And that's another reason I'm doing this, to try and get rid of the shame and stigma around struggling with any sort of substance abuse. Whether it's something as small as pot, or something as huge as, like, heroin, something big. Or even food. Food is a huge one because we need food to live, and those wires get crossed. It's so hard. But I just, I want people to know you're not alone, and you shouldn't feel ashamed of it. You really shouldn't. Because everyone, even people who you don't think would struggle with it, has struggled with it or is struggling with it. I was so surprised when I first started this cutback journey last year, the feedback I got from people. People who I never would have thought was struggling with these things. And it felt great. It was a sense of community and camaraderie. Awesome feeling. So that's why I share so much of this stuff, because I know that it helps some people. And that's what I'm all about. But, okay, I digress. Now, I haven't smoked in a week. Well, tomorrow marks the week. I got to a point, Friday night, last Friday, I smoked the rest of my pot. I was as high as a kite, and I just threw my pipe out. Because I looked back all the other times that I had successfully quit smoking and, not been upset about it. I threw my pipe out, or I gave it to someone, or, something like that. I got it out of the house. And so that's what I did. I threw my pipe out. I gave my grinder to, those of you that, a grinder it grinds up the flour. Think of a modern mortar and pestle. So I gave the grinder to my roommate. So there's literally, no opportunities. I can't go back on it and order some pot and smoke again, because I don't got anything to smoke out of. And that's it hammered home the commitment to me. Keeping my pipe around was oh, you're just kind of half-assing this. So it wasn't a commitment. So much easier when I fully committed and got rid of the stuff. And, if you're wondering, if you are struggling with this and you're like, oh, but then if I ever smoke again, I'll buy a new pipe. Come on, you can get one for $10. Chill out. But I digress, because this, is it forever? Probably not. I just needed to take a step back from it and get rid of the power it had over me, because it was tiring, so tiring just to, to smoke and wonder, oh, am I going to have to go anywhere later? Am I going to have to meet my mother-in-law? Am I going to have to do this? And, because there's some shame to me when if I were high and around my family. Because I know they don't approve. I know, I know I'm abusing it. I know that it has power over me, not the other way around. So, yeah, there was some shame that I put on myself. I don't even know. They don't even care, They just love me and they want me to be happy and healthy. Whatever. But I put shame on myself. And I want to advise you to not do that, because it is a killer of progress. There's a fine line between shaming yourself and just getting tired of yourself. And that's what happened Friday. I was just sick of my own crap. Sick of my own excuses. So, yeah. It really, that helped. And I think everyone will understand when I say you feel just sick of yourself and how you're living. And that's when true change needs to happen, when you are sick of yourself. So listen to that gut feeling, because it is going to propel you to something more. And I just want to, sure, I've been a little more anxious, but I'm able to utilize the tools and the coping mechanisms that I have worked really hard on this year to foster and to be able to use, And if you want any advice on that, please message me. I will help you in any way I can. Hell, if you even, if you need to go to therapy and you're scared, I'll go with you, 100%. I will, I'll sit in the waiting room. I'll come in there with you if you want to and just be a fly on the wall. Because I know it's scary. Taking these big steps is scary, right? But just know that you're strong and you're not alone in this, You got me. You have your family, your friends, I'm assuming. I know not all of us have a really, really strong support system, but if you don't have a support system, then you got me. Send me a message. I will talk to you and I will help you through it. There was something else I was gonna say. Oh, it also helped me get forward momentum in other aspects of my life. I have stepped on the scale 4 times in the last week or so, and every time I jump on the scale, I've lost 2 more pounds. Bye bye munchies. It helps. My lungs feel better. Everything feels better. When you are that clouded with smoke, it feels so much good to be in the fresh air. But it also might mean, we use cannabis for a lot of reasons. One of a popular one is escape and to cover up what we don't want to feel. Because if you smoke pot on the regular, your emotions get a little dulled, and when you stop smoking, those emotions are going to come back, sometimes tenfold. What word was I looking for? Repressing them. You've been repressing them for so long. Hi, Carmen. Come here, bud. Hi. You've been repressing them for so long, so of course they're gonna pop back up really strong. And that's when I urge you to find a therapist or find someone. I don't care if it's a life coach. I don't care if it's me. I don't care if it's, a friend, someone you can talk to, or at the very least, talk to yourself. Get on camera and talk to yourself, or get a journal and write to yourself, because it's going to help a lot to get those thoughts out on paper. And remember, we have to feel those feelings. You can't run from them forever. Okay? You really can't. So the sooner you do it, the sooner you start serving yourself. 100%. Like, there's no getting around it. There's no making it easier. There's no simpler way to put it. You just need to feel those feelings and get through it. I'm now a week into it. The first couple of days was hard, and I did eat a gummy for bed because I was, I just felt I needed sleep. I needed a good night of sleep to be able to continue this momentum. Monday night? Yes. Monday night was the first night where I didn't. And I still slept. I was psyching myself out a lot. And I feel like people quitting substances do that a lot. They psych themselves up because they're afraid, which is natural, so don't worry about that. It's natural. But worry about moving forward, and if a substance has true power over your life, you should change it. Something else should not have power over you. You should have power over it. And when I was thinking about all of this, I was like, well, what makes that different from, like, my prescribed meds? Those don't have power over me. Sure, I gotta take them every morning, but I'm not, like, I don't know, I'm not stressing about it. I'm not, like, freaking out about it. I'm not, I don't know. I'm not rationing them, or, I don't know. There's just such a difference there. There's a difference between medicine and recreation. And I guess, let me touch on that a little bit. I don't want this video to go on too much longer, but it is possible to use, like, something like cannabis recreationally, or medicinally. That's what I meant. Ideally for me, if I ever needed to go back to it, like if my anxiety was really, really flaring up, it'd be like one little bowl in the morning and one little bowl at night, to help ease waking up and to help go to bed. Nothing in between, okay? It's when you get tied to that substance. It's when, to me, it, like, almost felt like I was carrying it around like a ball and chain. For real. Now, I do have to have a warning. Some people who have been using for a long time do get really severe side effects. And I say not really physical severe, but mental. suicidal thoughts, psychosis, schizophrenic episodes, like that kind of thing. And that's another thing that makes me think maybe pot and cannabis, all these products, shouldn't be as accessible as they are. Because if people are smoking that much that when they quit, they want to jump off a bridge, it's scary. It's scary to think that something like cannabis has that much power over people. And another thing, I got a lot of thoughts. Another thing, I hope people start to think more critically about alcohol, with this, because alcoholics go through the same thing. Alcohol is very accessible, very legal, and it's so easy to abuse. If you feel you need to drink every day, you got a problem. And I'll tell you straight to your face. And you need to be honest with yourself about that, because there's no other way that it's going to get better. But I'm not here to talk about alcohol. That's not my thing. If you are that afraid to stop smoking, you need to stop smoking. Point blank. Cigarettes too. Any vice, if you are that afraid to let go of it, that means it's got a hold on you, and that means you need to let go. And I am not, there was a point in my life when I was doing like 7 dabs a day, when I considered admitting myself like a 72-hour stay just to get it out of my system, just to get 3 days where I have no option. And if that's something you need to do not feel shame, because we all need help. And when something has that much power over us, maybe that extreme thing is what you need, and that's okay. It's okay to go somewhere else to get clean, no matter what you're using. All right? And that's a really heavy note. Whew. Gonna lighten it up. Since, I've stopped smoking pot and the munchies have gone away, I'm doing intermittent fasting without even trying. For those of you who don't know, that's basically like you stop eating at like 7 p.m. and you don't start eating again until like noon or something. Like 16 hours, roughly around there, of not eating. It really has helped me feel lighter. It's helped me, my digestion is a lot better because it actually lets the food that I had for dinner digest before I eat breakfast, So that's another positive thing. I've also done yoga, like, almost every day for, like, a month and a half now, and that's great. Today I'm not doing it because my arms are short, but I'm going to go for a walk. And I feel like even going for a walk could be considered yoga if it's mindful and with intention, and you're focusing on your breathing and, you're getting that out of it. So that's another positive. I've gotten to explore the outdoors more. I'm overall a lot just lighter mentally, physically, because I've been able to let go of a lot of feelings that I've had that smoking cannabis has been having me hold on to. I got into a lot of ruts. So if you are like me, do the thing, because your life is going to be a lot better for it. And if you have any questions, if you want me to talk about something else in depth, I'll do research for you. I know we're all busy. Like, I don't have a traditional job right now, so I got time on my hands. If you want me to do the research for you and do a video or go live or even just send it to you personally, I'll do that for you. Okay? I will so do that for you, because we can't do it alone. All right? I'm going to head out. So, Mary Magdalene, if you got something to say, if you got something to teach, do it. All right. See ya.